Modern Korean history is filled with moments when survival itself was uncertain. In a previous episode, we explored how Syngman reformed his beliefs long before he held power. But today's story moves beyond one man. It takes us to a moment when a newly born nation stood on the edge of collapse, and one decision changed its fate. To some, this man was the savior of South Korea. To others, he was a commander who threatened democracy itself. His name was Douglas MacArthur. This is not the story of a single battle. It is the story of belief, risk, and how far one man was willing to go to stop the spread of an idea he believed was evil. The relationship between MacArthur and Rhee did not begin with war. It began at a dinner party. MacArthur's father-in-law introduced the young American officer to a Korean intellectual living in exile. Neither man was famous yet, but they spoke at length. They discovered two powerful common bonds. Both were devout Christians. Both believed communism was not merely political, but a moral threat to human freedom. They stayed in touch. Over the years they exchanged Christmas cards, birthday letters, and personal gifts. This was not a formal alliance. It was a friendship. So when South Korea declared independence on August 15, 1948, MacArthur accepted Rhee's invitation to attend the founding ceremony. His presence was so significant that it appeared on the front page of the New York Times. For a fragile new nation, the message was clear. South Korea was not alone. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces invaded the South. The capital fell within days. South Korea had almost nothing to stop the advance. No tanks, no air power, no time. The next morning, President Rhee sent an urgent message to MacArthur in Japan. If help did not come immediately, the Republic of Korea would cease to exist. MacArthur flew in secretly. Along the way, his convoy was attacked from the air. His vehicle overturned. He stood, surveyed the situation himself, and returned to Japan. What mattered was not what he saw, but what he decided next. MacArthur proposed an operation that nearly everyone rejected: a landing at a harbor city, not an open beach, but a port surrounded by seawalls and vast mudflats. Military planners calculated the odds of success at 1 in 5,000. Tide went out, the water vanished, ships would be stranded, troops immobilized, the invasion destroyed before it began. That was exactly why MacArthur insisted. He believed the enemy had already made its calculation. No rational commander, they assumed, would attempt such a landing, so they did not prepare. MacArthur pushed forward because of the danger, not despite it. If the timing was off, by even a few hours the war would be lost. But there was a narrow window, and when the water returned, the ships moved. The impossible worked, and the course of the war was reversed. The success of the landing changed everything. For MacArthur, this was no longer a defensive war. It became a moral struggle. As a man of deep Christian faith, he saw communism not simply as a rival system, but as an ideology hostile to freedom itself. He believed containment was not enough. So he pressed north, beyond the original objective, toward the source of the threat. What drove him? We cannot know for certain. Perhaps he believed that half measures only delayed greater suffering. Perhaps he looked to American history, two generals who had saved the nation and later led it: George Washington, Ulysses S. Grant, Dwight Eisenhower. Or perhaps, when he looked at President Harry Truman, a former vice president who assumed office after Roosevelt's death, MacArthur doubted his resolve or his vision. Or perhaps he believed this above all: if communism was not stopped then, it might never be stopped at all. President Truman saw the danger differently. He feared a wider war. He feared escalation. He feared nuclear catastrophe. Most of all, he feared a general placing personal conviction above civilian authority. In 1951, Truman removed Douglas MacArthur from command. It was a defining moment for American democracy. The military would obey the elected government, no matter how famous the general. But the decision left a question behind, not about law, but about history. Douglas MacArthur saved South Korea when defeat seemed inevitable. He believed freedom was worth the risk. Some argue that Had he been allowed to go further, had communism been confronted at its source, the next 70 years of history might have unfolded very differently. Others believe the cost would have been too great. History offers no alternate endings. It leaves us with questions. Is evil restrained by caution, or defeated by resolve? And when a man believes, he is fighting not just an enemy but an ideology. Who should decide? How far is too far?